Welcome to the Shiproom. You're on the air. According to NASA, there are over 63,000 square miles of lawns in the US, and no organization has done more to make every inch of them look green than TruGreen. I'm joined today by the CIO of that company, Ayman Taha. Thanks for being here with us on the Shiproom.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
A lot of tech leaders point out one of the biggest factors that slow down, what could otherwise be a rapid digital transformation is culture. How do you navigate those hesitations as a leader, and how have you utilized the cloud to make TruGreen stay competitive?
When you talk about digital transformation, you cannot discuss that topic without talking about culture. And quite often you'll find the conversation about digital transformation is very focused on the digital side, but the transformation aspect of it is dropped.
It's the buzzword, not the hard word.
Exactly. And when you do that, you tend to focus more on the toys, on the tools, on the IT, the technology side, but you forget that the technology and the tools are here to enable a transformation of some sort. So I think the cultural aspect is the one that we usually we need to start and should start with before we even start talking about the digital or the shiny object or the tool, if you will. I said to everybody on my team, listen guys, we are technologists at heart, but we will not start any conversation with anything about IT or technology. We have to start with our business objectives. Otherwise, we will be in the classic scenario of you go buy a shiny object and good platform, and now let's go look for a problem to solve. That's the position that we don't want to be in.
That's somebody calling on the Teams phone. Check this baby out. You're on the Shiproom here with Ayman Taha. Who's this on the phone?
Hi, my name is Alina Grune. So, I'm in the middle of training to become the next mascot of the Greenland national soccer team. I heard you had TruGreen on the show, and I was hoping Ayman could help us out with a little problem we're having.
I'll try.
Doesn't the Greenland national team wear red and blue?
There's a lot of backstory to my character that you don't understand, Brad. But the real problem is that FIFA won't let us into the organization because it's too cold for our fields to grow grass. That's where I thought TruGreen could help out.
Oh my.
Back to the grass problem. We want to try out some different grass types to see if any of them work. But the names are super confusing and some of them don't even sound real. I was hoping Ayman could tell me which of the following grass types are real and which ones aren't. I call the game Grass or Pass. Tall Fescue.
Grass.
Easter Island Rye.
Pass.
Creeping Bent Grass.
Grass.
Southeastern Scrumpulence.
Pass.
Dichondra Grass.
Pass.
Fantastic. Hopefully one of them will work. But before I go, I have one last question. Every company and tech leader is getting feedback from their workforce about how they want the most modern tools to do their job. When you get this feedback, how do you evaluate what tools to deliver to them?
Gone the days of big bang type of deployments. And nobody can wait for 10 months to a year to even beyond to deploy one application, if you will. So the approach that we usually take is multiple number one priorities. But in order for us to do that, we are very realistic in terms of the scope, in terms of prioritization, in terms of really adapt to more and more of incremental growth, if you will, or incremental build. So you don't have to have everything day one.
You have this concept of distributed agility, but integrated quality.
Absolutely. And it helps also with change management as well. In any implementation, change management is probably more difficult and more risky than the implementation itself.
Yeah. So you really focus on modernizing the way everyone at TruGreen works.
Yeah.
What did you see happening in the market that led you to believe that you needed to push this transformation to make yourself, your organization more competitive? And how did you do it?
If you look at digital transformation in general, unfortunately there is an element of buzz that's still living around it, and it's all about digital transformation. It's all about the website, the mobile app, and Cannot be further from that. And that's why part of the strategy we put for that technology when it comes to digital transformation is digitizing internally is a pillar of that strategy. So around the digitizing internally, this really doesn't touch necessarily the shiny objects, the glamorous world that you would see online. Things we're doing on the finance side, for example, we're modernizing our backend, some of our backend processes, and we're automating that. We're also looking into areas of how we can collaborate more, create an environment for our associates, not just IT and the business side, but even within the business to business, if you will. We're looking for more areas to collaborate. And Microsoft Teams is a great tool or a platform for us. Teams, sometimes it probably get the connotation of being, it's just a collaboration tool. It's really far more than that. Not only that, it's not the basics, just the basics about sharing files, sharing presentations, being able to be in an online meeting. And if you start looking about all of the other applications and the integration of the other applications that are coming into Teams, from Twilio to Smart Sheets, and this is one of the things that I think Microsoft is very unique about. There is no fear of the competition. Really, I give you guys Microsoft a lot of kudos on that. You're just not going after the basics. You're not going after the what everybody else have done. So that shows really a lot. That shows the vision. Shows the openness exactly. That it's not just we cannot confine the world in our own box, if you will.
So you work in TruGreen's headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And you lived and worked for years in Arizona before that.
Correct.
But you were born and raised in Egypt.
Alexandria, Egypt.
I'd love to a little bit more about Alexandria. And there's some common Egyptian phrases on these cards.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm hoping that you could read the Egyptian phrase, right? And then give us the literal translation,
right?
And then tell us what it actually means.
Oh, well. امشي في جنازة ولا تمشي في جوازة. That's a funny one too. So the translation here, the literal translation is, walk into a funeral, but do not walk into a marriage. So there are a lot of meanings, different meanings to this one. Is, the closest thing is don't get involved in things that, you shouldn't. قليل البخت يلاقي عظم في الكرشة. So a literal translation, the unlucky one finds even bones in tender meat. That's about, something unfortunate is always going to happen to people with bad luck.
Yeah, they've got bad luck.
Your luck is not going to take you far.
One of the things I love that you and I were talking about just a few minutes ago is the way that you guys are using artificial intelligence to actually transform how you interact with customers, enable your technicians.
We're lucky that we have a repository of interactions already. Our plan is to use them as knowledge bases to start our journey on the machine learning and the artificial intelligence. Once we started to get exposed to the Power Platform, we started to learn more and more on what Power Apps, what AI Builder, cognitive service. It's really great.
So tell us about this scenario where a technician or a customer can actually take a picture of a lawn, and then the AI does work to actually give guidance.
When the season for us starts, we onboard a lot of associates, we do a lot of training, seasonal workforce, if you will. And some of them are not really familiar with certain types of weeds, pests in the yard, even plants. You could be moving to a new house, I don't even know what kind of grass that is. And I knew at the time that Microsoft had a really robust platform around facial recognition. Can we use that?
Can we apply that to grass?
Can we apply that to grass? So as a customer, you could be walking in your yard, you come across an object, you don't know what that is. So you can point your phone camera with our consumer mobile app, TruGreen mobile app, and you scan that. It will tell you what kind of object that is. And it will also suggest for you, give you some recommendations about treatments, what to do, and all of that stuff. Soon after, we started to think, well, why can't we deploy that also to our technicians as well? So if I'm a technician and I come across something that I don't know, traditionally what I will do is I will pick up the phone and try to reschedule somebody else to come and take a look at it, somebody with more experience. But for us, no, now what I can do is I can get that information, and if it's a complex situation, I can even bring my supervisor from the branch. I can bring him with me on site.
So there's an expert who actually is helping you through VR on your phone.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Exactly.
So while I've been talking here, we have a chat bot that listens to the conversation and then actually formulates what the 12 most interesting questions are from our conversation. We call it the database dozen. But just to put you at ease a little bit, we have a couple of shrubs and some shears, and we're going to trim this into something beautiful while we're going through the database dozen. What tells you more about a person? Their charitable contribution or the state of their lawn?
State of their lawn. This is one of my pet peeves here.
Oh, really?
Because,
Does it bother you that you're helping grow delicious salad for rabbits? Are there any colors aside from green that you like to see on a lawn?
I like blue.
If weed killer kills a four-leaf clover, how many years of bad luck do you have? Which smells better, a freshly mowed lawn or freshly baked brownies?
A freshly mowed lawn.
Would you wash a grass stain out of your clothes or just leave it because it gives you street creds? Do you root for sports teams whether or not they play on real grass or turf?
I do.
All right, that's it. Well, I can tell you what, oh wow, that looks great, look at that. I was trying to do a heart.
That's an open heart surgery.
There you go, and it's horrible. Hey, so before you go, if people want to learn more about, what you're doing, you personally, TruGreen, where would they go?
Definitely go to TruGreen.com.
Thanks again for being here, Ayman.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
They're really sharp, so we got to be careful. Actually, it smells really good. Look at that. It's rosemary. Yeah. Holy cow, these things are damn. I don't know if they should trust me with these.
In there.